Hello, everyone. You might remember that last episode of my Legacy Challenge, if you watch my Legacy Challenge, of course, I have moved to one of my third gen kids out because she has aged up. She's now a young adult and now she's gonna live all alone. She's gonna live her own life. And I moved her out onto this island lot, which is in Solani, of course. And I also moved out a cat with her, so now I gave her a million of simoleons. I gave her quite a bit of money because I'm planning on building a house for her, and I'm planning on building a kind of nice house, even though I've said that I thought about, building something more of humble for her. I don't know, but it did not happen. So yeah, I've already built a house, so I think now I'm gonna just go and jump right into the speed build. So, as for the house itself, first of all, I knew for sure that I wanted to build for her a house that's gonna be more of like in a beachy style because my scene, she's a mermaid. She wants to live close to the ocean because that's her nature. She wants to live there. And then I thought that should I build like a tiny little shack or I don't know, or something like that. Or maybe I should kind of go like out of my own mind, maybe a little bit, and build for her a mansion. It turned out to be a mansion actually, because in the end, this house is over 100,000 simoleons, and it has only one bedroom, so that is quite an expensive of a house. When I was looking for some sort of reference pictures for this house to build it properly, I found like a house which has an entrance on the second floor, which was 2 floors higher up, and which had like a garage or a shop at the first floor. And I took that house as an inspiration. As you might see, we have a staircase right outside towards the entrance of the house. And I decided to kind of make it a little bit smaller in some dimensions, and in some others, I don't even know how that house looked because actually I only had like a sketch of the front of a house, and that's what I was going off. And then when I was starting to build it all, to start with the shape, when I was kind of figuring out the roofing, I figured that it goes with quite a bit of a more Mediterranean maybe style, but in the same time I just tried to not to keep it all to one style because it sometimes can be a little bit not so realistic, because I doubt that so many people when they build houses they try to like stick to only one of the style, because usually our tastes in furniture in the exteriors of the house are a little bit mixed, I think, and that is why usually we can like some parts of like one style, one area style, some parts of different area style. So in here I think that it turned out to be a sort of a mix of maybe a Mediterranean style, as I have said, and in the same time of sort of like ethnic modern kind of style of the house. On the exterior, of course, it's mostly Mediterranean, I might say. But on the interior, it's gonna be everything and everywhere, because on the interior, I might say I've used quite a bit of island living and also jungle adventure, but I've used much more of the packs. And for that, I'm sorry again, because somehow it just is a little bit difficult because I don't know, maybe EA does it like for a purpose. But when you are building a house, usually there are quite a bit of pieces, furniture of the same style that do match absolutely perfectly to the other pack, and that can be a problem because if you want to build like a complete house in one complete style so that it doesn't like interfere with different styles, sometimes it can go quite out, as I might think. So yeah, in here I did go out of hand with style choices, with all of the furniture choices, with all of the pack choices, of course. So yeah, in here I've used quite a bit of packs because when I did download this house into my library, I did not upload it yet to my gallery. When you're watching it, of course, it's going to be uploaded, but for now, when I'm recording this, it is still not. But when I was downloading it into my library and when I was checking how many packs does this house have, I figured that maybe that's a little bit too much because this house actually had like 3 pages and 2 more packs on the fourth page. So that's quite a bit, I might say. And I'm sorry for that because that was not my intention. I did not build this house with the thought that, like, I'm gonna make these guys who are watching these videos and who wanted the loaded pack poor because they will need to, I don't know, buy the packs to download this house. No, I'm not doing that because that would be evil, and I'm not gonna do that, something like that. So in here, I was just like going on this style, and I know that I'm apologizing a lot for the packs that I have used, but I don't know, but there are different people watching the videos. Some of you might want to see me using quite a bit of packs because, not everybody has every single pack in Sims, and maybe you want to see how these packs may be used, or maybe you have all of the packs and you want to see the build with all of the packs. Maybe that can be a build idea, by the way, but I don't know. Maybe that's going to be even worse. But as for now, I feel like I have a little bit too many projects for that spare time that I have because I have two unfinished building projects. Like one of them is Nikrustra build, which I have only one build left to do, and I cannot put my hands on it and finish it off. And it's been over a year now, over almost a year and a half now. And also, as for building projects, I have my Willow Creek rebuilding project. And as a matter of fact, like literally today, we have received a base game update that did update Willow Creek. So now some of my builds look much worse than default EA builds because I was trying to kind of leave the same style. And new builds did not try to do that, so they managed to improve the build much better than they were originally. And yeah, I am a little bit slow with my projects, and for that I'm sorry, but I don't have all the time in the week to record the videos because I have a job. And yeah, maybe that's a little bit look too close to the heart, but that is what it is. And back to the build. As you might already see, I'm landscaping the build in advance. I'm not trying to leave landscaping for the last minute of me building the house because I have figured that whenever I'm landscaping, if I figure that I need to use debug, and that means usually that I do need to lower my build to the ground level. Of course, this build cannot be lowered lower than it is by default. Like it is minimum height of these builds that I'm building it on. But as for the debug problem, the debug skips right to the height of your foundation when you're trying to place something close to that. So that can be a problem sometimes. And when I'm trying to lower my house, if it's a little bit higher than the lower height of the foundation, then I'm gonna have a problem with some of the stuff in the house deleting itself. And that is a problem because I do spend quite a bit of time trying to place that because not everything I do place in the slots. Some of the stuff that I'm placing, I'm alt placing, I'm 9 key raising it, and maybe 0 key lowering it, and it can be a problem sometimes to place it back in the same original area. So that can be annoying. That is why lately I have figured that doing some of the landscaping in advance can be a little bit easier, maybe. And this way I can control sometimes. Maybe I'm using some ivy and maybe some of the ivy clips inside of the house. I can maybe adjust the floor plan later to cut this ivy out. So that is useful as well. And as for landscaping on this house, you might have already seen, but I kind of did spend quite a bit of time landscaping it vertically because this house is in a tropical area where we have quite a bit of moisture, quite a bit of plants. So I think that some of the plants can grow like up on the stucco that I did use for the exterior of the house. And I figured that maybe some of the jungle adventure plants can go quite well with this idea of the house exterior. So I did that too. And by the way, yep, this house has its own fire. And that is just because I figured that, yes, when you're living on an island, swimming around can be fun, especially if you're a mermaid. But sometimes it can be maybe a little bit more fun or maybe a little bit more useful, at least in my imagination, not to swim around by your own power, but to use some vehicles. And as we do not have vehicles in the Sims 4, but we have something like a fun, like these water features, water transportation, like these boats, we can use them at least for our imagination. Just to imagine that maybe your sim is swimming up to the main island to buy some groceries and stuff. But of course, they don't, because you don't need to buy groceries in The Sims 4. If you're playing without Cottage Living and without Simple Living, you literally can just pay money into your fridge and buy everything you might need. And I have decided that this house does actually also need a back entrance when I was making the pyre, and that is why I decided to add a tiny little back porch, and that was a little bit problematic because my back porch was leading my landscaping. That was annoying, but I figured out a way to kind of avoid that, and in the end we do have a back porch, and I kind of like the way it looks because it looks kind of simple and neutral, but in the same time it is a nice spot to stick your trash can out of the view but still easily accessible. So you're welcome. That's what I can say. And now, actually, as we are trying to figure out how I want to stick that like diving gear, which my sim will not use because she's a mermaid, she can dive without any diving gear. But as I was figuring it out, I also was quite a lot thinking for the floor plan, because the floor plan was kind of a main feature, which not a feature, like main maybe breaking point for the shape of the house, because sometimes the house that is pretty on the outside cannot literally fit anything on the inside, and that can be annoying because sometimes there are some of these like vamp house that look cute on the outside, but then they literally make the floor plan kind of difficult, because some of the vamp house make it literally impossible for me to place the bed. And in here I was doing my best to avoid that, and I think that I did avoid that quite good. So we have some big rooms. So if you really want to, you can quite easily make this house like not just one bed, two bath house, but you can maybe stick a living room somewhere on the second floor, which is like an entryway floor, and you can stick a couple of the bedrooms in the basement if you want to. But I did not do that. I figured that I want to make this house a little bit weird. So in here yes, we have one bedroom. And weird for The Sims 4. What is weird for The Sims 4? We have a garage. And as about garage, I did stick actually cars in there. Cars. We have two cars. Which is useless because we are living on an island. I know that. I know that that's quite silly of me to stick cars on an island, because how are you going to transport them? But I'm imagining maybe there's a ferry, so you can kind of travel somewhere to the mainland, and that shouldn't be a problem, I guess. So, yep, even though we have useless cars in here, I actually think that these cars help me to reserve a good spot for us to have a skill building room in the future. Maybe you don't have enough activities in this house, so you can delete one of the cars, maybe stick somewhere in our like basement, which is literally not in the basement, but which is the first floor, ground floor. In there, you can maybe stick a woodworking table or maybe a robotics table. Like, who knows? Maybe your Sims do want to do quite a bit of things in their spare time. Like, I don't know. I have quite a bit of hobbies, and one of my hobbies is The Sims 4. So, yeah, I do need a computer for some of my hobbies. I do need a table, like a empty table for some of my hobbies. I have plants as a hobby, and I have quite a bit of them. So, yeah, I literally am growing cacti from the seeds. So, what am I to tell about the amount of hobbies? So, if your Sims have millions of hobbies just like me, then they might need a garage. And I did just leave a garage as a useless room. Yes, garage is useless in here because in there we just have a cars and some storage. You will see. I will furnish it last, almost last, before a living room. But the garage is useless, and you can find a use of it if you want to. But now let us go to the furnishing of the house. As I was speaking all of these stuff about garages and pyres and of useless cars, I have almost furnished our terrace outside. So our front porch is kind of like wrapping around the house, so it's a terrace at the same time. So out there, I decided that it is a really nice spot for me to stick a pergola. I did stick one from my wedding stories because, I was already using the windows. Like, nobody's gonna hate me for using this pack. And this pack was troubleshooted lately, so it kind of works nice. So it's not cute to hate on the pack that works anymore. And I decided to stick out there a huge outside dining area. I know that if you have seasons, island living can be a little bit annoying sometimes because if you have seasons, then you will have quite a bit of storms out here in this island living world, especially somewhere in the fall or winter. But if you're playing with a mermaid, your mermaid can like kind of bring the storm away, like ask for the sunny weather or something like that. Mermaids can do that. That is one of the useful pieces about them because otherwise they're pretty useless. So if you're living with a mermaid, you're not gonna struggle with thunderstorms out here, and you will be kind of okay with using your outside dining all the time. And I did stick out there a bar too, just in case you want to have a party or something like that, because sometimes it can be useful to have. And mixology is a useful skill to have too. And if you do not want to have a bar, you can just replace that bar table with another counter, and you can just use it as an outdoor kitchen because later I was removing some of the clutter on one of those counters and I did replace it with the pizza oven. So you can have fun outside. And also you can stick over there a grill. And that can be kind of logical to have like our outside kitchen right there, just because right through the window we have an inside kitchen. So everything, all of the electricity, all of the plumbing can be like literally let out there right through the wall, and you do not need to leave it like somewhere underground because that can be annoying, especially for engineers. So some some like detour of my thoughts. And as for all of the other outside area up on the terrace or deck, I don't know how I should call that, I decided to stick also an outdoor living area because it can be kind of nice to sit out there, listen to the water, listen to the waves, feeling the sea breeze on your face, and just hang out. I think that it can be nice. And I also had some empty space out there, and my initial reaction usually is to fill all of the empty spaces with plants because I love plants. But in here, I thought that maybe it's gonna be a little bit too much, so out there, right on the left from our staircase upstairs, I decided to stick a couple of bicycles. I know we have a garage on the first floor where we have a tiny little deck in front of our garage where I don't know, I'm imagining that maybe your car can ride up there. I could stick a couple of bicycles right up there, but I did not. And that is because I'm stupid, because I thought about that when I just finished the build. I did not think about that when I was building, so sorry. But I think that it's still kind of nice. And on our lower deck, where we have entryway to the garage, I decided to stick a meditation mat. Maybe, our sim doesn't work. She has all the time to be spiritual and stuff like that. Like, she has all of the time of the world to meditate, to listen to the waves, to feel the breeze in her face, just all of that stuff that I have said already. Like, she can enjoy completely her living out here on an island. And I think that that is actually beautiful. Even though her father doesn't approve of her not having a job, she approves of her not having a job. And as of her having a million of simoleons, you know what I'm imagining? I'm imagining she won a lottery and now she's just living her best life. So that's what we have out here. And yeah, I have said to you before that I have moved her cats with her. And you some of you who are watching my legacy challenge, I believe that it's quite a few, I might wondering which one of the cats has moved, and that is Coco, because I decided to leave my Snow with me, and I thought that two cats is a little bit too much, and I know that that might sound bad, but if she's gonna move out, she's gonna have a better life because she's gonna be the only cat in the family. She's gonna get all of the attention and she loves it. So, and she's gonna have two feeders all for her, and she's a glutton, so she's gonna enjoy it. Everything is thought about. So I had a plan, but I wanted to move Coco with Camila, and I did move her out here. At first, I forgot about it, but then I came back and switched her like in the household menu, and now she's Coco is living with Camila, and Coco is gonna have her best life out here because we have only one sim and one cat living in this house. Coco now has two litter boxes, all for herself. She now has two feeders, all for herself. And she now has four cat trees, all for herself. I I bet she's not complaining that she moved out. I bet she's not complaining that she was kicked out because it literally was like me kicking her out. But now she's living her best life. She enjoys everything she might enjoy. Of course, there is a slight problem with her because we are living on an island, and sometimes if you are playing with island living or whatever pack you're playing with, because I'm just saying about island living because only in island living you have Solani. So I have encountered several times a slight problem that when you are playing on this island lot, your sims might spawn not out here, but right by the lot that is just by the volcano. And that can be very annoying because if they're spawning right there, if it is a cat, or maybe if it is a toddler or an infant, they cannot swim. So when it's toddlers or infants, it is not a problem because you can literally teleport them. But if it is a cat, it can be a little bit of a problem. I don't know. I have never encountered that. I have never tried to play test that. I hope that I will not have to play test that, and I hope that none of you will have to test how that works. But let us just hope that your cats will not spawn somewhere out there on main island, and they will always spawn on this tiny island, which is their own property. So Coco is now having her best time, even though she has a little less land under her paws. So as I was saying that we are now furnishing the bathroom, we are finishing it up actually, and we have a bedroom, a complete bedroom where we did place our first cat tree. And when I was going around this house, I kind of tried to figure out the floorings for all the house like immediately, because that's a little bit more useful for me because it gives me something to go off. And also, at the same time, when I'm picking floorings, I usually try to pick like two or maybe three types of flooring for the whole house because this way I usually do have a chance to make the whole house more cohesive so that it doesn't look like just separated blocks of rooms clustered all together. So it looks like a house, like a complete house. So in here I tried to do the same. So that is why in here we have similar flooring almost in every single one of the rooms. I usually just try to make like a slight difference with picking carpets, and I think that that shouldn't be a problem because carpets do add color, and carpets are more easily changeable in real life at least. And in The Sims, of course, everything is easily changeable, but not in real life. So I think that I did not make a mistake when I was placing the similar flooring literally everywhere, but I think that I did not. So that is what we have out here. And as I was saying that we already did finish furnishing our entryway, which I decided to make kind of big this time because it's actually 3 by 3 area with a hallway, which is literally 2 tiles wide. So that is quite a big area for our whole entryway. And if you really want to, and if you want to add maybe another bedroom into this house, you can, I think. You can just remove the wall, which is between our dining area and our entryway, and you can make this whole area a living and dining area. And that is gonna be like a bigger living room, of course, and that's gonna be like living room right in the entryway and not in the basement, which is ground floor. And maybe that's going to be a little bit more appealing for you. But as for me, I have decided that I do want to have a living room in a basement. So that's what we have. But if you don't want to, you might change it up a little bit, and you can make basement into 3 more bedrooms because it has quite a bit of space. And if you replace a garage door with something with a little bit more privacy, you can make it another bedroom. So that can be a little bit useful, I guess. And as I was saying that about our entry, I finished up our dining area. In the dining area, we have another cat tree. Also, in there, we have some cat feeders. We have a big dining table. We have some plants, of course, but mainly I was kind of trying to keep that feature of the house, which is that like all ventilating wall in the back of the house, look with overlook to the sea. And that is why I was trying not to clutter this side of the house all that much. So we need to have a view, so that's why I was trying to keep it mostly like simple and empty. And as I was saying that, I have almost finished up figuring out the kitchen. As for the kitchen has quite a bit of different layout, I might say. So we have a breakfast nook which actually wraps around the corner of the kitchen, which can be not really kind of convenient for us, but I just thought that that's okay. And by the way, when I was trying to furnish this house, I figured quite an annoying part of this game. Because you see that counter that I was using and that upper cabinet that I was using, they are the same swatch, but they have different hue. The counters are more like yellow grayish wood, but the upper cabinets have a little like a pinkish undertone, and that is so annoying because they do not match. Yet again, wood colors do not match, and you kind of expect them to match because they are from the same pack, they are the same swatch, but they don't match. They are literally different colors. At least for me, I see different colors. I know, look at my screen and I'm getting angry about that. But I decided to just leave it up, ignore that, and go and furnish up all of the house. Continue doing that, continue doing what I was doing. And actually, with all of the clutter, it's not that visible. When I did pick some brighter colors for the house, it's not that visible yet again because all of the upper cabinets are like bright light now, and that's okay. That is just okay. Like I'm not angry about it at all. Like it looks cute. And the kitchen is yet again overcluttered because even though the kitchen is not small, out here it's not small at all. We have only one empty counter where your Sims will be able to cook. So I am a little bit sorry about it, but actually not so sorry. And if you have seen me placing a trash can somewhere in the kitchen, I must warn you that is not functional. So your Sims will go outside to throw out some of the trash. So that's maybe a little bit annoying too. Anyway, as I was saying that now I'm kind of trying to go downstairs into the basement. Out there we have our second bathroom. We do not have a bathroom on the first floor, which is like a second floor actually, where on the floor where you enter the house we do not have a bathroom. But we have a bathroom on the ground floor and also on the top floor where we have a bedroom. So as for bathroom on the ground floor, I figure that I want to make there something fun. So in there we have a sauna, so your might relax out there. I know that maybe that's a little bit a controversial choice, especially if you're living in a hot climate like Solani. But at the same time, I thought that that's gonna look cute. So that is why we have it out here. And that is a nice way to maybe relax sometimes. And I thought that I might want to stick out here gym somewhere in the garage, but I didn't because I figured that actually Camila is not that much of a gym person. She's much more of an ocean person. Ocean is her gym. Water has such a nice resistance that you kind of need to work your muscles when you're swimming. So she is gonna be fit because of swimming. So that's gonna be okay. She doesn't need a gym. She has an ocean. And anyway, in this bathroom, I decided to kind of go on more of like an island kind of style. So out here we have some more plants. Also out here we have like an open shower. Out here we have a closed off toilet. And maybe me placing a rock right underneath that shower was a bad choice because this rock is always going to be wet. And in no time in real life it would get moldy, but we're in The Sims, we are not in real life, so that's okay. That looked cute, and this bathroom did need a rock, so I decided to stick it out here anyway. And as for our sauna out there, I actually went out of the box, at least as it was for me, it was as I was feeling that, and I was decorating that a lot. And as we are using sauna, we are already using spade, so of course I will be using quite a bit of candles from spade. I was using some mirrors, some decor from there, and I decided to use that like waterfall fountain wall out there, and I did stick it right against the wall, and it doesn't make a problem of us using sauna. So my sim, I've playtested this build, my sim was able to use the sauna, so it just looks cute and it doesn't cause a problem. Isn't it perfect? I figured that it is, so I was kind of satisfied with that. And as I have now finished with the bathroom and the sauna, I kind of sometimes you might have noticed that I'm going outside, back outside, and trying to fix some of the landscaping, some of the plants, like some of our vertical plants, which are directly on the build. And that is just because when you have quite a bit of windows and doors in the build, sometimes they just clip into the wall and they don't click to that, and that is because of using move objects, of course. And I'm sorry if you're gonna encounter that, but move objects is gonna save you, so that should be probably okay. As for the garage, I just made it a storage room because usually when you have a garage, especially if you live in climate which has seasons like I do, like you might want to have some winter tires sometimes, and maybe you want to have some instruments to fix your car sometimes, because some of the fixes can be fixed like right away somewhere in the house. And that is why we have quite a bit of storage. Also, as I did place a garden outside, I decided to use that shelf from the eco lifestyle, because that shelf has pot in it with leaves or something like that, and I have figured maybe that's like compost or something like that. I know that that sounds bad to leave compost somewhere in your garage because that's gonna smell. But as for the seams, we do not smell the thing that our seams can smell, so that's okay. And as we are finishing it all up with the garage, I kind of have one more thing to say about garage. You might have seen me placing some cracks on one of the walls, and that is me trying to kind of like imagine that our contractor was trying to hide some of the stuff about this house. That is why we have a whole wall white curtain out there, which is from the high school years, as I remember, if I remember right. And yeah, we were trying to hide cracks in the walls because this house is ancient, and maybe it was not built on a proper foundation for that, and that is why they were hiding stuff, like always imagine somebody like an evil house salesman or something like that. And anyway, now we are going out to our living room. As for the living room, that is actually a huge space for a room. So in here, I decided to make a built-in for our TV. Out there, I have used that TV which came with the Party Essentials kit, as I remember. I haven't used this TV still. It's been almost a year since the Potty Essentials kit came out. I keep saying potty as if it's potty, and it annoys me so much because Potty Essentials is not the Party Essentials, so I'm sorry about that. Anyway, I've used that TV which has a background lighting on it, and I tried to make a built-in which kind of would frame that lighting, and that kind of turned out for me nice. And I've picked an orange background lighting as if it's kind of mimicking the wall, that wooden wall that we have on the other side where we have a couch. And also our view bump out in this house is occupied with a tiny little reading nook and a cat tree, because cat deserves all of the nice view. Maybe our cat is gonna enjoy looking out there at the birds, or maybe at fish. We are living on an island. We have a lot of frogs and fish out here. So that's what I was trying to go for out here. And on the other bump out, which is directly underneath our staircase to the house, I decided to stick like a tiny library with archaeology table, which can be maybe useful for you too if you're gonna dig somewhere around in the sand, because this way you can find some collectibles. I think it's usually seashells, but if I remember not wrong, sometimes you can also find something like fossils or stuff, but I might be wrong. Anyway, I think that maybe having something like that can be fun. So that's why we have it out here. And that is actually me finishing up now with all of the speed build. I think that quite soon I'm just gonna go around the house and I'm gonna just touch up on some of the landscaping that we have. I'm gonna go back into the game and show you what we have ended up with. So this is the build. I hope that the fact that I just opened up the window because the air my room got a little bit stiff does not bother you, because there are cars outside. They might be heard out here. I hope they are not. So anyway, this is our build. This house didn't turn out to be as modest as I was expecting it to be. So yep. Right up here in the front, we just have the usual. We have a mailbox, we have a stair up to this kind of like maybe a porch. It's not a porch, of course, but terrace. And out here we have an entrance to the house. Our house itself is 3 stories high. Also out here we have our little meditation area where you can meditate, listen to some water fountain, and maybe watch the stars. Like, I don't know, maybe you want to do something like that. We have quite a bit of landscaping everywhere around the house. I did even add some of the plants up here, right and onto our pergola just because I thought that that looked cute. We have our little garden in the backyard. We have our tiny little resting area out here, like right near the ocean. Out here, you might get tanned if you want to. Of course, this area is mostly shaded as for this house, but anyway, we not tan like in direct sun. That's dangerous. And out here, we have our deck, or not a deck, I don't know, a pyre, our own pyre, I'm imagining this. And I now think that probably I might want to remove these fences because they look like a little bit extra. I want this area to be a little bit more open. And I think that as for these tiny little part around the shelf, I'm gonna leave the fence just because it makes sense out here. Like for the storage, we not need it to be swiped away by the waves. So anyway, here we have a little pyre where we have our water wheels, I might say, and that is pretty much all for the exterior. And as for our terrace out here, we have outdoor dining area, which looks absolutely perfect in the evening because we have this string light out here. We have some lights on the walls out here, like it's nothing too extra, it's kind of simple. We have quite a bit of plants everywhere around. We have a cow plant bicycle, so that is the best part of these houses for me. We have a night, of course, 8,000 simoleons. Like, why don't we spend that? Also, we have an outdoor bar. If you do not want a bar, remove the bar, stick out here a counter, or maybe a grill and make an outdoor kitchen. And that's kind of logical. We have a kitchen out there. And our outdoor living area. Now let us go inside. So as you enter the house, we have quite a spacious living room out here with all the necessities you might want to have in our entryway. It's not a living room, it's an entryway. Also, we have a music out here. If you want to listen to the music from this, you might want to stick it on a slot because otherwise your Sims will not be able to access that to listen to the music directly when it's not on. Or you can turn on the music and then ask your Sims to come and listen to that, and that's gonna work. That is a weird stuff. And by the way, we have a duck. I did not forget about it. Also, through this archway, we can access our dining area. In our dining area, we have a dining area for us, a dining area for our cat, fat cat out on the wall. Also out here we have a cat tree so that the cat doesn't feel excluded and stuff. And up here on this side of our dining area we have a green area where we have this green card from Life and Death pack and also this gramophone. And through this another archway we enter our big and maybe a little bit weird kitchen because out here we have a plate storage, breakfast snack. This whole area is mostly occupied with clutter or with appliances because in here we have a microwave, a kettle. Also out here we have a mixer and this cocoa tray, and we have this empty counter in case your Sims might need to cook something because that's what kitchen is for. And otherwise you have literally everything you might want to have for the kitchen. This trash can doesn't function, sorry. And as let us go now upstairs because out here we have our bedroom, which is our mermaid bedroom because in here we have quite a bit of island living, a cat tree, another cat tree, nice view to the ocean, the same view we have from our dining area, by the way. And out here we have a tiny little balcony where we have a chess table. Functions as well. Out here we have our office snack with the bookshelf and stuff. Functions as well. Everything was play tested. And out here we have a toilet. We do not have a shower in here because it's literally useless because you have a mermaid. And we have in here a lit box and a toilet on the opposite side and some clutter, some stuff, just the usual. And let us go now downstairs. As we go downstairs, out here we have a tiny little mud room where you can exit the house. Out here we have a trash can, easily accessible. And this room is pretty much useless. From here you can enter our bathroom. And by the way, this needs to be deleted because otherwise the sink doesn't function. I play tested that, so it won't be out there on the gallery. Do not worry about that. Here we have a tub, another little box, also a sink, a separated room for a toilet itself. Out here we have a shower because we have a sauna out here. Fancy one, functions as well. I've play tested that, so you can use sauna out here and wash out all of the sweat after you've used that. Out here we have a nook where you can hang out in our living room. Out here we have a nook where you can hang out with your cat. And by the way, about all of the cat toys, I have another one of these boxes upstairs all of the toys are scattered around it, so that you can see what toys you need. You can remove some you don't need, and you can put everything you might want to put somewhere out here in the box. It is our reading nook. It is our cat hangout nook, and from here we have the same view to the ocean too. And our living room is pretty simple because we have a TV, we have a gaming console also out here. We do have some sitting area, a piano, just in case you want to hang out, another cat mat, and out here we have this archaeology table, just in case you want to study some archaeology, like who knows. And from here you can access our garage. Our garage is pretty tight, I might say. Out here we have covered our cracked wall, and out here we have some storage, just in case you need some, and some instruments in case you need to repair your car. And yeah, we are imagining that we are using a ferry to move our cars to the mainland, like how everybody does that. Nobody does that. So that's pretty much it for the house. I think now I'm gonna upload it to my gallery. So this house right now is out in my gallery. It has only one bedroom, two bathrooms, and it has quite a bit of hobby stuff. And it was built specifically for Camilla and Coco, but in case maybe one of you seem is a cat lover and the other one is maybe a mermaid, that house is going to be perfect for you. Or you don't need to be a mermaid to live out here, because all you might need is just the love for ocean and water. And that is pretty much it. So I think that maybe thank you for watching. And if you like videos like that, you might subscribe to my channel. And I think that right now, as I'm going to try and pick the cutest angle of this house, I'm going to tell you goodbye. So bye, guys.